Ready to get going? All right, folks, good evening. Oh, how's everybody doing with the time change? I know, it's a lot of fun.
Just like, hey, up.
Any recommendations, Doc, for transitioning to the DST?
But really, if you're starting to transition now, it's too late. The goal is to do it before. You do like some like slow shifts in your routine, like 15-minute segments that sort of lead up to the whole thing. So you kind of missed your chance at this point.
Might have to call you otherwise.
The couch.
The cats.
The cats. The cats.
All right, folks. Can we look at the minutes from February 12th? Would anyone like to make a motion regarding those minutes?
Yes, I will.
Motion to pass the minutes? To approve the minutes? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there a second? Any discussion regarding the minutes from February 12th? All in favor of adopting the minutes from February 12th? Okie dokie, thanks so much. Updates and announcements. I know Sarah has at least one. I was racking my brain a little bit. I don't think I have any. Sir, do you want to mention the bike rodeo?
Yeah, it was just that I got an email from the Brunswick Park and Recs departments that there's a bike rodeo coming up. I can't remember the date right now. I sent it to you, but I can double check. But yeah, and they wanted to know if people wanted to go again. Aaron and I went last year, and although it's a Brunswick event, it was sorry, it was good. And we talked to people. There were some people from Topsham there. Since Topsham doesn't have its own bike rodeo, it's sort of like piggybacking on theirs.
Can you just say a little bit more about what it is? May 16th, I think.
Okay.
Can you just say a little bit more about what it is?
Well, I brought my kids there before this committee was. It's just like a big kind of. They close off the big parking lot by the rec center over in Brunswick, and then they have, different people like L Bean has a booth, and like they're different, I think, and they have different booths and kind of safety things for like fire safety, but also bike safety. They fit kids. The Rotary Club provides helmets for any kid that shows up, which is amazing. They fit them and like teach them how to wear them safely. They're bikes to borrow, or you can bring your bike and ride, and they're like courses that you can practice safe riding on. And then they have raffles for bikes that they're giving away with a lot of community sponsors and stuff. It is Brunswick focused, but it's Brunswick Bike Ped Committee had a table last year too.
So we're invited to have a table?
Yeah, and we were right next to Mid Coast last year, and it's like people expect swag, they like really want stuff. And so I think we handed out, we were like a little bit less exciting than some tables because we had some stickers that we had brought and maybe some candy or something.
Stickers are much more exciting now.
Yeah.
But I also have a whole bunch of those slap things from BCM.
Yeah, as long as we're not next to Mid Coast, who was giving out like bike bells, which were pretty awesome. Then it's yeah, it was like, and people were like, "Can I bring these for my 4 sisters at home?" And it's like, they're just people like stuff. So, but the slap bracelets are definitely cool, and they're reflective ones. Those are good for safety. I think it's a good opportunity. That kind of event is a good opportunity if people are interested in signing up for, the newsletter. A lot of people, if they're from Brunswick, don't really walk in or bike much in Topsham, but with the new bridge, that might be changing more. So it might be really valuable to kind of stay present in those things.
Totally. So at this point, are you looking for volunteers at this point?
Yeah, and just sort of, do we want to do that again? I mean, I don't think we're not in a position that we're going to have our own this year for sure. So it kind of makes sense to do it again. I think people think that's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. Can I ask you to wrangle a crew to make it happen?
Sure. Yeah, I can have that up for sure.
Awesome. I'm not going to be around that weekend, but
Okay.
It's really, I haven't been to this one, but I've been to a bike rodeo, and it's really fun. It's just cute. The kids riding their bikes, and it's just.
And they have more freedom than most places because it's all kind of sectioned off, so there's no traffic to.
But there's do they
There's a course,
out court
Yeah.
and it's just fun to watch these
Yeah.
little kids.
hand signals for turning and stuff.
Awesome.
What is the date on that again?
May 16th.
Okay, great.
It's the third Saturday in May.
There.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I'm out of town that weekend, but I will help in any way I can for that.
Okay, cool. Great.
Would love to be there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that might be a good chance to get some proposal quick builds in front of people too. We could like use the table as some community engagement stuff next to the fun stuff that the kids are actually going to be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got both kids, but they just have adults, chaperones with them. You have 2 audience target.
Yeah.
And adults are just mostly known, right?
Yeah, going with the.
Letting their kids tired. Giving their kids the opportunity to become tired. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Did you have something else, Mary Beth?
Yeah, I noticed today, and I just had never looked at it before, that the Bicycle Coalition of Maine has a monthly bike ped committee meeting. So all the towns with bike ped committees are invited to that on Monday afternoon. Once a
I
month.
think this came up, we were invited a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think, and at some point it was put out to the committee and
Nobody was interested.
at that point, but we should throw it out again.
Well, I actually think I'm gonna try to go.
It's virtual, is it?
Yeah, it's just a Zoom and it's 45 minutes from 4 to 4:45 on.
I might have missed it. I feel like we gave names to somebody, but I don't think I ever got an invite or I totally missed
Dana
it.
was our Bicycle Coalition of Maine guy. I don't know if he went to it, but like
Okay.
he was our primary contact.
Well, if
Yeah.
it was remote, you wouldn't have gone to it.
I
Oh, I mean- That's true.
So
remember
send
it.
out the link and you can just,
That would be
there's
great.
a
That'd be great.
QR code,
Yeah.
you can just sign up to get.
That would be great.
And then I think it's worth checking out to see
Yeah.
if there's other things other towns are doing or anything that sounds interesting. Might be, might be nothing, but.
Maybe you and I had like an informal conversation about this. Dana had been our bike coalition liaison. Do you want to take on that?
Yeah, I
role?
think we actually talked about it in the meeting last month.
Okay,
Was it not in the minutes?
I don't think it was in the minutes, but maybe we
I
can
think
add
at
it.
some point we talked about the need for some of that to be redelegated, but I don't think any of it actually got delegated.
Well,
Can I delegate you to
Yes.
that? All right. I hereby delegate you.
Brian, I got an update too when we get around to this side. Unless we
Go for it.
have it right now.
Yep.
4 Union Park Road, I don't know if you're aware of that, so you know where Union Park Road is, they're talking about that large facility, they're looking to build 183 units.
Yep.
Over there. We've had quite a few conversations with them in regard to the fact that they're putting 183 units over there.
Yep.
With no sidewalks.
Yep.
And it's a situation where everybody that lives in that building is gonna be able to look across 196 and see Subway. You know, the gas station, bootleggers, 104 Main, is right around the corner. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, right? Dunkin' Donuts is right there.
Mhm.
So we've been pushing for them to have some type of a crosswalk, preferably at Hamilton Court, because there's already a stoplight there. So they're pushing back, but they don't seem that interested in, and correct me if I don't think that. If I'm not describing it well, but
Oh, you're.
we've continued to push saying we've put everything in writing, so now it'll go before the planning board and it'll show what we've put in writing about the fact to have 883 people, because their argument is people aren't gonna walk across 196, and our argument is if they can see all those facilities, they're not gonna drive, they're gonna walk across the street and we're gonna get people hit. So we're trying to force their hand a little with that, as well as putting a sidewalk on Union Park Road headed towards Main Street so that if there's any students at either high school or middle school, they'll have a sidewalk to take, so they can get over and cross into Mount Ararat or the middle school, as well as any other residents there that wanna go for a walk. Right now, they're all stuck there. You know, there's no sidewalks, there's no crosswalk, there's nothing there, so we're pushing pretty hard to have something done.
So Dave Holman, I don't know who.
Yeah, he's on there, he's on the planning for the other group.
Yeah, he has approached me directly. He also came to the meeting on at the library.
Oh, all right,
And I think put some stuff on the map or in the map about that topic.
all right,
I had a conversation with him at the library at the meeting and suggested that they look at this intersection out here because I don't like that intersection. The 201-196 intersection.
right, yep.
I don't know, I guess I don't understand what, from a process perspective, what the DOT, like how that, it's a state road. So even to put in a sidewalk anywhere, like what would that entail?
Yeah, if you did a crosswalk at Hamilton Court, there'd need to be a sidewalk along 196, right?
Well, so yeah, that's part of the other discussion. What we have tried to get them to do is to work with, although it's an empty lot, it's being leased behind them.
Okay,
That lot that supposedly Hannaford is leasing to keep a grocery store from going in there. But what we're trying to get them to do is work with those folks, because at some point, somebody's gonna build
to do a
right at that
Okay.
forward. So what we want them to do is have some type of access road, and they can go, you know, out the backside of their property
Okay.
and right up there. The other option was that they can come up Union Park past VIP, turn right along 196 to get to that light.
Okay,
I feel like they're preferring the backside, except they would have to talk to the neighbors. What do you think? What do you think?
I think the latest is I think they're exploring a few different options. They're putting together a package right now that would talk about from the front door basically of their facility to Hamilton Court with sidewalks, and then some sort of control on 196.
Right.
That seems to be what everybody's focused on right now. There was a proposal that was kind of tossed around about connecting 201 to 196 by like beefed up pathways out back, so that the school could actually use it to the kids that wanted to cross. And then there's also discussions on whether or not they're gonna consider a sidewalk between their front door and 201. So there's a bunch still kind of floating in the air right now. I can almost guarantee you that they're not gonna even remotely be interested in anything to do with the 196-201 intersection.
The developer, you mean?
Yeah. So, and I don't know what that would entail even if they were interested. So.
Does the town, sorry, does the town still have, do you guys have regular conversations with DOT about the widening project at all still?
Just not regularly. We had the last meeting, the planning meeting for, which was the last meeting they had.
Yeah, I mean, they might not have an appetite for it, but I almost wonder if.
We're on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
Is that where they don't go to ending?
Yeah.
That's gonna, all those things that were just mentioned, but like all connect in my mind.
Mhm.
Like the school access, the new building access, the new improvements, widening on the connector. There's all like interrelated things, and it seems like rather than coming up with piecemeal solutions, just like coming up with something that helps mitigate all of those issues. Are they looking for permission? Is there some sort of requirement that they do something, or?
No, it gets, I'm sorry.
No, dude.
It gets, I mean, it's development, right? So it gets kind of like a little pokerish, if you will. So there are some requirements, but most of it's, in the planning board and the town, negotiating with the developer. Or, what benefits the town are and what's gonna benefit the town versus what's gonna benefit the developer. And, in a case like this, I think that you're right, I mean, all this stuff is connected. The meetings that I've been to and the experience that I have with this project. He's in the final stage of his planning, and he's not gonna entertain anything that's gonna slow him down. And so, I mean, food for thought going forward, but I'm also pretty convinced he's not gonna be interested in anything that doesn't directly impact his project. Like financially impact his project. So, yeah, right. So I think the 196,201, I think my guess would be there wouldn't be any interest in, it's too late in the game. And the other ones, we're still waiting on their proposal to see what they come back. I mean, they may come back and we may still have to negotiate, another choice, because they may come back and say they don't. It gets very complicated. In front of VIP, there's some grading issues, some drainage issues. So they're going back and throwing real numbers at it to see what's even possible. But we're trying desperately to get connectivity. And the town manager is kind of working another angle with that path out back, regardless, I think, of whether this goes through or not with this development. That eventually, because it's a CMP easement that goes through there, and he's talked to CMP, and is pretty convinced that eventually we can get right away through that, to build or construct a pathway that kind of goes around the backside of that property. And if that happens down the road, then I think you have a lot of choices. You could actually get from the school to the mall, I think a little bit easier, staying off of the main. But that's a long way to.
Okay, sounds big and complicated. So, sorry, Chief, in terms of a next step on that, there's something going to the planning board?
Yeah, I think they have to come back one more time.
Yeah, yeah, so they had a final site plan review, but because of these issues they're gonna have with staff, and then
Because of the pedestrian connectivity issues specifically?
well, no, there's a list that's on the list.
Okay.
There's more. So they'll be coming back in front of staff one more time, and then we'll go to the planning board. I don't remember when.
They haven't given us date. But we're pushing. I mean, we didn't forget, when Mr. Stein was on the group, he talked about everybody over in that development feeling like they're out on an island, and we're gonna have these folks, and these folks can see the places they wanna go and won't be able to get there. It's just, it's not a good recipe right now.
Agreed.
Can't get coffee if you're happy.
No, you probably don't want it.
Well, they'll probably just go anyway, though, is the thing, right?
That's the problem.
They'll
They probably
go,
will.
They will, they already are.
Right, of course.
We saw people crossing there the other day, and I think the chief, Hamilton, is it Hamilton?
Yeah.
Hamilton's the better version versus
The one-
the other one with a coffee shop.
Right, there's a lot of focus on Hamilton. The problem is, though, not to get too much
Yeah,
into the
exactly.
weeds.
It's gonna be a run for
Right,
the
gas station there.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too far into the weeds, but the issue with that is, if the developer wants to help us, with the road crossing there, then you have to have a sidewalk.
So the development's there.
Nope.
Is it the
Yes,
green?
yes,
Yeah, the
yes, go in
development,
the grass part, yes.
So they would have to put in something here, like a sidewalk here, and come down here.
so the development's right here, right?
Yeah.
What they're talking about, doing is, well, the development's gonna be like right here, and they're gonna come out of here with one idea is to come out of here with a sidewalk, to come right down here with a sidewalk, and to come over here and to attach. Am I in the right spot?
Yep, you're right, Paul.
Then another item that they're looking at is to come out here, come this way with the sidewalk and connect into here, right?
Yeah,
And then this right here is the CMP property. So what the town manager was talking about, if they could get this lot owner to play ball, to have a connector path that kind of does something like this and then like this. And could put you out there as well as it could attach to some of these trails, I guess. Also come up down here, but I think that's future. The development, the developers really want to focus on their project and what's going to directly impact them. And I suspect it sounded to me like the favorite of, correct me if I'm wrong, but public safety for Topsham, as well as some other comments from the developers. So it seems like they're going to look at this option, right? Whether or not it's doable.
I think it's the best now, because if we send them out into a wooded area, I just don't think that's it. The path at night out through the woods, you know, probably not. You know,
All of the children will
Yeah.
come from the high school and middle school and just go off into the woods.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You say it like that.
All right, okay. We probably took a little bit more time than we should have on that. Thank you for that update though, chief. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Sarah. Sorry, Sarah, for that little delay, but that was an important conversation.
Yeah, that's quite all right. That's important stuff. If Vanessa can assist at all in site plan review kind of stuff for that project too, I'm not sure how far along it is and if that would be appropriate, but feel free to loop us in to those discussions. Sometimes she can look at a plan and give some pretty solid advice pretty quick. So yeah. So I wanted to keep it pretty informal and just kind of do a review and debrief from our community workshop last week. I thought it went off really well and really was kind of curious to hear what you all heard from the public and any lingering thoughts you might have had after the fact or any chatter you might have heard about it. So if people want to go around and share out, that would be great. And then we can look at the results a little bit together afterwards. So if anyone wants to jump in and get us started.
I thought, we weren't overwhelmed with numbers, but I thought the input we got was quality. The people that showed up had thoughts to share, and some of them were quite thoughtful. Some people brought drawings and, very specific suggestions for their neighborhood. So I thought we got some high quality input.
Yeah, it definitely attracted a different kind of person than like an event where you're just sitting and they walk by and like you engage with them in that way because they had to make a concerted effort to be there. But I think that was valuable because a couple people had really.
It's a shame it's snow, that's one of the big problems.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
the biggest concern I heard was the 196-201 intersection.
Mhm.
And the Highland, one on the side of 196, that they are on an island, they can't get out there. They can't walk up on the bypass. That's the biggest thing they squawked about. They walk on the sidewalk down the one top of the bypass and that stops. And according to the town manager, when they do the widening of the road, they are considering a repair for that and crossing again, which I wasn't aware of, which everybody was very happy when I told them that, so that's a plus. Let's make sure they follow through with that now and do that. But that'd be a plus. But right now they're running across a 4-lane road. It's gonna be a 6-lane road when they widen it. So it's gonna be interesting, so hopefully.
They said it's gonna be, what they say, it's gonna be the widest or the
Yeah,
longest
right.
crosswalk in the state of Maine.
Yeah,
It will be, yes.
crossing, major highway, like, because they get like 13,000-14,000.
A lot of cars going there, yes.
Are they gonna do like a
That's the
middle?
13-14.
Are they gonna do like a middle?
That makes sense.
No, what
Yeah, not really.
their point was they're gonna do a smart crosswalk that it'll depend on traffic, how much traffic they're seeing before the person will You won't just be able to push a button and go. It'll read the traffic, see pedestrians may have to wait a while.
Right.
And they're gonna have a long light, but they don't plan on putting
But
like
there's
an
nothing in
island
the
in the
center
middle where you could rest.
between the two.
You gotta go.
That's tricky.
And the little sign that says walk, it's gonna be the guy running. That's running.
Jetpack.
They start next fall.
Oh, that's really fun. I was telling him, I ran into Dawn yesterday. I was literally out running,
Dawn's nine?
Dawn's
Oh,
nine.
oh.
Yep, I was literally out running. Right, there's Dawn. I was like, oh, hi, Dawn. I didn't remember who I was, which was fine. I reminded him, and then he was reminded. But then he was like, yeah, they're gonna do nothing about that crossing at the Highlands until after I'm dead. And I was like, oh my god. Well, next fall sounds great. He'll be thrilled. Or different.
And the other big complaint I heard is the 4-5 road.
Oh.
If Mashpee did the rec field, they wanted to continue out further. And also Cat Ant Road. That's the two places they're considering the hardest. We talked about the railroad. That they abandoning make a path there, and they talked about that. There's some pros and cons and ideas on that, but they didn't say much about it because that's up in the air too far yet. It was talk about taking that bridge down and putting a grade crossing, but I guess the trails committee that does the trail and railroads wants that bridge, they want to each above it, so I don't know what they're gonna do, so that'll be interesting yet. But that's the biggest thing I've heard. Crossing of the Highlands, the continuation of the bike path from there instead of going to the fairgrounds to the Elm Street crossing. Right there with the fairgrounds down the other part, and that was the biggest thing they heard, 196-201. Somebody complained about the over here on I think Bigford Barrel Drive, where you come out with a fence, no fence. I said, I can't get my bike through there. Well, yeah, you can't control there either. Just to get people to go and walking around it. So they understood what the design was all about, right? But they were very frustrated with it until I told them why it's like that. Oh, can't get a motorcycle there. So.
I think there was one gentleman in particular who brought a couple of like smaller things that felt really doable. Who was sitting there with me? I think maybe it was you actually. Sarah on the screen. We were sitting with a gentleman who was like, oh, it'd be great if there was another crosswalk at like Maple and Bridge Street. Like, and that, yeah, there. And it just felt like it was really important to him, and it also is really doable because it's a crosswalk. And we can like easily put one in, and if somebody's gonna feel safer with a crosswalk being there. I think it was across Maple there, because yeah, because the side that currently where that crosswalk is, that side of Maple doesn't have a sidewalk, but the other side does. And there's not a crosswalk across Maple. And it sounded like that original the crosswalk that is there potentially because there's a school bus stop maybe right there or something, and for access for kids. But anyway, it felt like an easy thing to like, and it was easy to, and he'll be very happy. I'm thrilled with the crosswalk.
We'll also talk about the street down with Bridge Street to
Yeah.
the more dangerous section there.
Yes. Yep.
Summer Street.
Yeah.
By the River View. Can't cross the road to is it Mill Road that goes across there? Yeah. It's a great walking street, it said. There's no houses, it's nice, it's quiet and everything else. But you take your life across your hands and you cross the road there because you can't see. They wanted to make sure something could be done there. We're on the Topsham side if you look at the map on that one.
Sarah, did notes that people wrote make it into the digital version?
Not yet. I have them all. I have photos of everything. If you guys want to check them out, we can scroll through them together. But yeah, I was gonna just digitize these and drop pins in the online map with these comments. So this one says, yeah, connect the Lisbon Rail Trail to Topsham. Are you seeing the photos?
Yes.
Okay, great. This
Can
one's
you
on.
read the text well though?
Doesn't feel safe to drive, walk, or bike on Meadow Road. Poor road conditions, no shoulder, higher speed limit.
Yeah.
Cathant, speed limit is really high. Don't feel safe driving speed limit.
Love it.
This is a dot, no comment here, but it's Middlesex Road and Forside Road, right over Muddy River.
Oh, interesting.
You're commenting on the footage.
The bridge.
Bridge, yeah.
They're supposed to be replacing
It's
that.
this summer, I believe.
Only the why didn't put a sidewalk from Tower, why is your bike path?
Keep more woods at the Topsham Fair Mall.
What
was that?
Keep more woods at the Topsom Fair Mall.
Out of Highlands into Elm Street needs a crosswalk. I'm not sure what this one says. Bike path. Oh, river bike path.
Riverwalk, yeah.
And this is again that area you were talking about just a moment ago. I heard a lot of talking about like tying in the Merry Meeting Trail. And this intersection kept coming up, this rail crossing, the skinny sidewalk. I heard that a few times. And this one says Forside Road too busy, no sidewalk past rec fields. So this was our zoomed in map. And then we had one of the whole town where people could comment on some of the more rural areas. Oh, I think that those zoom ins were of the larger town one. So yeah, I will digitize these so that they're reflected so that everything's all in one place. And then this map is currently, or it's headed to town hall, I believe. Is that right?
It is at my house right now. It rolled, actually, I need to check in with somebody about where we could potentially put that up.
Probably makes sense to put it with the brief of the step out here in this room. I'll have to take a look and see. I'm sure there's a spot. How big is it?
There's like a 3x5.
4x3.
4x3.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's everybody's taking measurement of it. It's like,
It's like this big, it's kind of big on a wall.
Yeah, they're decent sized maps. So this is an overview of all the comments so far, minus those ones that we got at the workshop. So yeah, again, this area, 196, 201. So I guess, I mean, did everybody share out everything that they wanted to, or I don't want to cut people off. Did anybody else hear anything else that they wanted to talk about in certain areas?
I think that sums it up.
Okay, great. So I think the next steps would be deciding how long we want to keep the survey open, when we want to close it down and really dig in and start doing analysis. And deciding how we're going to hone in to the few spots that we want to draw quick builds for. So I think the data is going to be really helpful in backing up our decisions, but I also feel like you all might have ideas floating around for potential quick builds. So I would love to hear thoughts if people have specific areas where they want to champion for seeing something. I think we should also look at the data and see where it keeps coming up, where the crash data is also showing that there's problems and where there's a safety concern. So I think I'm not ready to present out, where I think we need to do a quick build, absolutely. But I think that's kind of the next step, is closing down the survey, really digging into the analysis, and then hearing from you folks where you have ideas for, and working with Jim Tassie, who's the sub-consultant who will be helping with coming up with a quick build. So he used to work for the Bicycle Coalition of Maine, and he's done all kinds of quick build installs So yeah, then I think the hope would be that we'd present you with like a menu of options. And you let us know your thoughts on those. So jumping ahead a little bit, but that's kind of the path forward.
Sarah, can you help me think about the next couple meetings and just sort of like just process some of what you just said a little bit? So
Yeah, I was hoping that we could actually bring Jim in maybe to our next meeting, Jim Tassie.
yeah.
And he can be a part of that discussion about, you know, what ideas you folks have, what places keep coming up, what would be highest priority in the short term.
Okay, so next meeting is April 13th. We've got at this point we have just one meeting scheduled per month. We're just on our regular meeting schedule at this point, so the second Monday of the month. So if Jim were to come to the next meeting, what would you want to have ready? Like what sort of stuff would we need to have prepared for that? Or what do we need to have done in order to make best use of his time, I guess?
Yeah, I guess like I think a short list of problem areas would be helpful as a conversation starter, like 5 or 10 areas that keep coming up, and then we can winnow down to what we think is realistic. He can look at the Maine DOT data and see what he thinks is going to be approachable versus what's going to be just too big of a fight to want to start. If that makes sense. So I would really like for him to be a part of the conversations that we have around the projects and help build them. So I think he might be joining the next couple of meetings is what I'm thinking.
Awesome. No, I guess I'm just looking at like when do we close the survey? Like how much time do we need to process stuff? I'd like to keep the survey open as long as possible, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if we could do a little bit more like targeted reach out to groups and see if we get as much data as possible.
Maybe before the survey closes too, we send out like one final push email, just reminding people that it's closing, because I feel like that sometimes gets the most, like deadlines help get someone who's been putting it off to actually like put in the information, like me.
I wonder if we could pull the info that we have, like, so let's say that we want to close the survey, I won't say April 1st because that seems superstitious, but March 31st, but we want to have the data, between now and then so we can start looking at the hot spots that came up. I wonder if we could pull that at least preliminarily.
Yeah, certainly. I think, we can do like a soft closing where we kind of start to do the analysis. We can keep it open in case there's lingerers, but we can put a date out there and say, give us your feedback by X date, but not actually close it.
Are you able to see, you're able to see data's input, right? So like if you want to see everything that came in after say March 15th or something, separate that. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think waiting till the end of the month would be fine from my perspective, like March 31st. And if we want to keep it open past that, that's fine, but we can put that date out there for now is when we're gonna kind of soft close.
Yeah, and then Sarah, we would at the next meeting really be able to review the data and
Sarah, if the weather cooperates, we can start getting our speed trackers out there again. So if you have a set of locations that people are complaining about speed, that's fine, and I can highlight those, and we can, again, if the weather cooperates, we can start doing that again.
Perfect. And I did want to show, just for the people that weren't there, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I took all the speed data that we've collected so far and kind of summarized it. So this is in the Google Doc, in the Google Drive folder. Just kind of summarizing. Can you guys read that? Okay. So if you want to kind of review what we have so far and just get an idea for how fast people are driving down some of these roads, I tried to break apart kind of the most important data points and consolidate them all into one table. So yeah, there's some scary numbers here, but nothing probably that's too surprising to you all. But
That's the best one. I'm new one.
Yeah.
It's great. Text.
Was that you, Chief?
No, but I.
Yes.
Was it you on your mountain bike?
The chief likes his Dairy Queen.
I thought they were open.
He had to get there before 8:30. Do we know? So
It's so scary to come.
I did a-
Or do it 90.
I took a quick look at the ADTs on some of these, and one I did notice. I think River Road, and maybe Brian, that's what you were saying. That might have been swapped with maybe 196.
So I think, yeah, Matt pointed that out, the River Road.
oh yeah, that doesn't sound right.
I did look. I think that did match the maps that you had printed out too, or not the maps. I'm sorry, the data from. So there's something got somehow transcribed. I think I don't know if it was from the boxes being pulled or anyways.
Yeah,
But I think
that's pretty light on 196.
Yeah.
196. Yeah,
but that might make sense that those are
Yeah.
facts.
right.
I wanna
Yeah, that
say-
doesn't pass the gut check. Okay, I'll double check those numbers and yeah, we'll add more to them now that we have this nice spring weather. And then the other data that I had was on crashes, and I'm gonna dig. So this is the crash map. This is kind of the hot spot of where the crashes were in the past 5 years. And this is all crashes. So whether it's a fender bender or involves a bicyclist or not, everything's just on one map. And you can see some of the same spots are coming up that people are putting on the crowdsourced map. And so that's in the Google Drive as well. And then this is just kind of an analysis of those crashes and the contributing factors, what kind of crash, weather, time of day, what speed limit. So the Maine DOT, I reached out to them to get this data, and they offered to build like an interactive dashboard version of this, which I took them up on. So that's something that I'll add to the website once they get that built out. They showed me an example of one that they had built for the town of Bath, and it looked great. So I can circulate that around just so y'all can kind of see what to expect, and if you have any critiques, then I can tell them to do ours different. But I thought that would be helpful. So loved that they offered to build that up for us. So yeah, I think that if we can get Jim to come to the next couple of meetings, and if we close down the survey end of month, early April, that gives me time to kind of synthesize everything that we've seen so far, and we can all, have a discussion and hash out potential locations at the next meeting, if that sounds good.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, not that I'm focused on Mallet Drive, but I noticed that only the pins that are there are ones that I put there, and I know my neighbors complain about it constantly.
Mhm.
So can I post their comments on their behalf? Because I didn't want to put a bunch there
Change your IP address.
because of my IP address, and they'd all be the same IP address, and you'd think it was some scoundrel.
Well,
Side of the at the event that was talking about
Yeah.
Highland Drive?
Yeah, I don't know if he put stuff on.
He might have put it on the paper copy, which I know is not. fully-
Hasn't been-
it
it
hasn't
wasn't
been
there
converged yet, but.
But I mean, I can't go outside without the neighbor.
Oh, yeah,
Without somebody stopping me and
What-
complaining
I think,
about how fast cars go.
I think if. I mean, some people might wanna be anonymous, you could say on behalf of neighbor, or you could just say,
Would that work, Sarah?
not even say it, you could
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
'Cause you-
I think some people are,
Fast, and then you'll know.
Yeah,
yeah,
I just don't wanna do it and then have them all
Be
deleted.
I think, yeah.
no, I would say absolutely go for it. I think sometimes you just have to write down people's comments for them. I do it all the time at workshops live, so I don't think it's any different.
I got some info through somebody on the energy committee that, I think some common complaints from Highlands, and I'm not sure if they're in there, and it was like a text message. A long form text message, so I should go through and actually make sure that's all been updated in there. So, yeah, I
Great.
think that makes sense, and I can do the same thing, I can post on others' behalf if it's not.
Yeah.
I was thinking,
Yeah, sometimes it's just, yeah, the energy of opening the link and typing out your thoughts. So yeah, if you can help people remove barriers to participation, love it.
When does the town put new lines on the pavement?
That's a good point. Yeah, they're gone right
They
now.
start in spring, or at least then they gotta wait in line with all the other towns. There's only a couple companies I think
Okay.
that do it, so they try to get it early and it's just only so many companies.
Yeah, but like generally, what do you think is the earliest?
The windows are usually
May?
open, because I always hear them up there.
Then start getting the lines, cause they gotta go and do their spring cleanup first.
Yeah,
so-
they're actually, Topsham's public works director is one of the ones that likes to expedite it in the spring as soon as he can, so he's actually, his sweeping schedule is. His sweeping schedule is actually sooner than most towns, I think, so he can get the streets.
I just have two things related to that are kind of unrelated. Well, sort of related, but like any of the things, I'm kind of harping on this whole like extra crosswalk thing that this guy mentioned, but anything like that that's like easily doable, we should get like compacted into a list. Cause that should be done like when they go do all the other lining, I feel like, so it's like really easy. Like if you go to do, not easy. It feels like it should be easy. If you're out there putting one crosswalk.
It sounds like,
and then people-
in concept, it sounds super easy, I agree.
Okay,
But sometimes you run into this.
okay,
Why there's not one there to begin with, was it budgeted, is
On the
it,
landing.
is it legal to have it there, there's all kinds of rules I don't know.
okay.
And so, it's sometimes if you look at something, you go, wow, that seems super easy, there's usually a reason it's
Yeah.
not there, so we just wanna make sure, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Cause if we can start early working on those things, then like by the time they're actually doing it, I feel like it would cost less, cause they wouldn't have to come back to line again. Right, like if you like don't get it, if it doesn't make the short list for like putting a crosswalk down early in spring, and then you're like, well, in June, we want a crosswalk here, and you have to pay them to come back to do it, that feels.
Except for any new crosswalk that you add, not to be a penny pincher, but
You can.
any new crosswalk
Yeah.
you add, that price now gets added to a budget that was already created without that crosswalk.
Got it.
So it's almost like. If you're gonna add something new, it would almost have to be next year, depending on the cost.
Okay,
But if they had extra money this year to budget, felt they could do it, that'd be a public works decision.
okay,
We just move them one, maybe to the storage, just move one. The cost is already for that.
Yeah. what does a crosswalk cost?
I have no idea, that's why I'm being careful. I don't,
Okay,
I
okay,
don't know,
okay.
I know everything costs more than I think it should.
Yeah,
That-
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then the other question I have, sort of similarly with lining, is that I don't know, a while ago, when they redid Elm and like repaved everything, and we talked about like what, like if we wanted like sharrows and things like that, that's also something that we should probably think and talk about sometime in the near future as the spring approaches.
That would probably be a good one for Jim. Dennis had said. I lose track of time, back in the fall, Dennis came in and said, and we threw out some options for stuff, and he said he'd come back in the spring. That might be a good conversation to have with.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought Dennis, I thought you, maybe I'm wrong, I thought you had decided that Dennis was gonna just put the regular lines on it and try and see what you thought. Was that not?
That's what happened.
Oh, that did that, okay, so now, all right.
The additional markings, I think was the concept, what additional markings?
If we were gonna designate a bike lane at all.
Well, and there's a new director of public works, Matt Hunter's gonna be taking over, so he's started with him, right, already? Is he like,
Yeah, they're both working.
okay, and so he would be someone to like
Yeah,
possibly
we should definitely.
bring in too.
Maybe, yeah.
I should bring Josh to the one of the.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
jobs.
Great.
I didn't hope that they hired those,
No, so the public works department is.
Deputy.
Yes,
you know,
Yeah.
What's his name?
That's
Josh.
Second.
School is very.
No, that's it.
Josh is out of that.
What's Josh's last name? Do you know? Cause
Josh.
yes, that's what I said too.
Yeah, that's what I.
We know him, we fondly
He's
know him as Josh.
Formerly known as Josh. So I suppose the same holds true for things like signs, like stop signs or those blinking crosswalk signs. Like that one right out here. Every time I cross Main Street right here, I can't get over how many cars just fly by you
Drive
when
right
you're in
through,
the middle
yeah.
of that crosswalk. So maybe one of those blinking.
Or what's the things that goes in the middle of the road?
So let me remind you of two things. Real quick, just two quick things. Number one is part of this committee's charge was to figure out, I think, a method to determine on what you thought was bad and what wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I think that process should be followed first. And then when you do follow that process, like tomorrow night, there's a big meeting here that's gonna approve the budget, or not, but discuss the budget for this year. And it's interesting because how watched the budget is. And so you might have a line item in Public Works that says, you know, for things that the Bike Pedestrian Committee have come up with this year, and they might store a little bit of money there. I don't think that's the case. So anything new, crosswalk lights, crosswalk paint, anything like that that's new, if it wasn't built into their budget, it might be a next year item, unless they have some money specifically designated for that, which I'm not sure if they.
Which was exactly my question, is we should set the expectation for most things that it's next year's budget.
If it costs money, it's probably.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the rules of what can be done and what can't be done, are those set by town or? Like, for instance, I've mentioned this before, not that I'm bringing up Mallet Drive again. But stop signs instead of bumps, you know, if we had stop signs on Mallet, that would stop people from getting on a winter and flying to Monument.
You want both these freeway stop signs.
So the town could do that, but I've never heard anybody bring that up before. That would definitely be something the select board would have to look into Public Works.
So, but those are the kind of things that we can come up with and then know who we have to go where to. Like three-way stop signs would be perfect on Mallet, I think. And
I like the way you're thinking.
yeah, I mean, everybody complains about speed bumps. So, and then I don't think they're very effective. Those little humps on winter, people just, they're worthless. So,
Well, so was there speed data is after those went in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Is that the process that say somebody, there was a lot of complaints about an intersection, there would be a proposal to install stop sign that would get voted on by.
Proposed by the highway department, then.
Voted on by the select board or whatever to approve it, and then that would be eventually put into the budget whenever there was money for that to be done. It could be this year, it could be next year, whatever.
That's if the funds are coming from the town. Are there ever opportunities like haven't we talked about like that there are opportunities for like state funding for certain things with grants, DOT?
State funding or grants, I mean, it's still, I mean, even to apply for a grant, you still have to go through the select.
Okay.
So it would all kind of get.
Okay.
So we have to start
So,
That's why he's here.
to bring cookies.
feed me well. I will say one thing about the line painting. Dennis has a connection with the line painter, so before we get it done early, both from that whole picture though. The painting should be done here before anybody else. Just, he has connections. They like each other.
Yeah, so as I'm reviewing the survey info, I think I'll keep an eye out for those kind of quick hit items, the like super quick builds where it's just like signage or paint and not necessarily like redesigning an intersection. You know, those lower effort ones that whether it's this year or next year that could be quick hits. So I think that's a great plan. And yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if there would be time for this, but do you think there would be an opportunity between the 31st for the soft close, I guess, and then the 13th, for you to maybe share some of the hotspots with Jim before that meeting? I'm just thinking if he has an opportunity to look through them.
Yep. Yeah, I've actually already sent him a link to the map.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So he can kind of he'll browse around it, and I'm sure that he already has some ideas coming to mind if I know him. So yeah. I know that's a great point.
I'm hoping, just to circle back here to the survey, I'd like to do some targeted outreach to folks to see if we can generate some more comments or feedback. And I know you had reached out to the high school folks.
Yeah.
Do you think you could bump that with them or something? I don't know how to be most effective with that feedback. I guess, but I'm thinking if we could reach out to I'd love to get some more input from school aged people and their parents. About mobility around school areas. I feel like we got some feedback from Highland Green folks. I bet we could get some more if we went back and asked them. I know we reached out to the Wheelers, the Merry Meeting Wheelers. I don't know. Ben, I'm looking at you again.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody came. I don't know those folks well. I would love.
But their meeting is on Saturday, the 21st.
This month?
March 21st. So, like, I was planning on going. I could bring my laptop with the map, and they could not laptop, whatever this thing's called. They could get right there. It's like schmooze.
And the other thing, I guess I'm with Jeff and Chief. Do we have a connection, or John Hodge, I guess, with the housing authority? I'd love to reach out to the housing authority and see if we can get their residents or folks that have. So one of the groups that we put in the grant in terms of a target group was like low income people. Like that's probably a demographic that we haven't hit very well at this point. But if we could get some feedback from them somehow.
Send you
Rich's phone number. I'd love to just call him. Or maybe email and then call. It's like email, it's just like, yeah, you know how email is.
I wonder if each of us could just like make a commitment to like reach out to like 3 or 4 people too, just as like I mean, I have 3 or 4 people I could just send a message to and say like, hey, do you mind just like doing this right now?
Right.
If that, I don't know.
And I can take Highlands again, just
to bump it.
Another bump on that.
And I'll focus on Highland Green to like, I'll send it to my parents and have them forward it to their people, and that's helpful.
And I'm gonna mention just one last thing. Back when we were doing outreach for the meeting, we had talked about hitting the dump.
I don't know about the transfer station.
There you go.
I don't know what it would take to actually just like go and like park ourselves on a Saturday and just like engage people and just ask them and just like plug stuff in. Does anyone, I will really enjoy being over there. I don't know what it would take to actually make that happen. To get Wi-Fi over there.
Hang at the dump with you.
I mean, Saturday's a good day, that's when you can, somebody else's trash is another person's treasure. I got basement mirrors from there.
I'm single parenting the next couple weekends, so I don't know if I'm volunteering for that. But does anyone interested in? Talk to that. Just great one.
I'd go hang at the dump.
I could go this Saturday.
My husband would, I could volunteer for that.
Just go.
He goes to the dump on
Probably find a
Saturdays.
couple bikes there.
Yeah, he loves going to the dump.
Is that something we would need to check in with Ed about ahead of time, or rather just show up? And
Yeah, well, check in, but definitely don't call the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't refer to it as.
So come to the dump.
But,
Don't go the day the Girl Scouts are there selling cookies, nobody will come near.
Yeah, that's true.
You just
Come right up.
stand by the Girl Scout cookies and everyone will come right to you.
I would reach out to
They
Ed
might lend you
because, in all seriousness, they're a little short on staff right now, and I think it'd just be nice to make him aware, just so.
Yeah, totally. Everyone surprise them.
Maybe while we're up there, we can say, no, classes over there.
Yeah, you can help, yeah,
Sorry.
the Baylor's fun to run.
Yeah.
Brian, I gotta head out, but I will follow up with, I had response from people at the school before that they said they were gonna do something with it. The high school principal and their community engagement
Oh,
director.
Community you mentioned that.
Doug Ware, but I'll try and find out what they actually did with it.
Okay. If you want some, track team, cross country team,
Yeah.
whoever's out running on the streets. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. All right, be
Yeah.
safe out there.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else before we wind up here? Oops, and Ben just thought I was supposed to mention that anyway, but.
Oh, send it out an email.
So I have just on updates, I didn't want to interrupt before in case we didn't have time, but I did go to the Riverwalks Alliance's first meeting. Well, first meeting that I've joined, a couple weeks ago. So they have what is planned impact complete for Maine DOT, basically pick plans, level, and they've got an estimate for that, and, so we just kind of had an update. They're talking about basically having it kind of go along Route 1 with separated by a guardrail. And they're looking at different options for guardrails over there. And then they also talked about that public art on the other side of the Frank J. Wood Bridge, which the guy who spoke on it was clear to say it was just a conversation starter and nothing's been finalized yet.
So it has,
Yeah, exactly.
it has not been finalized, I
No.
think they told me it was.
It's interesting to put that out there without it being, thank you.
Started a conversation, that's.
It definitely started.
So that's the update on that, I guess, for this month.
Okay, cool.
And I'll just point out that when he was tagged with Riverwalk was the same conversation when I was tagged with.
With the bicycle, I think we
By
talked about that.
BCA.
It just was in these past minutes. but
It
maybe
might
it's
have
the
been
previous-
just a
Might have
sidebar.
been.
I think it was after the meeting, maybe. Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't just make it up.
No, I think I was there, so I remember too.
All right, Sarah, how are we doing? Do you have anything else for us?
Nope, we covered everything on my list.
Awesome. All right. So our next meeting, here we are, it is the 9th of March. Our next meeting isn't until April 13th. So between now and the end of the month, we are gonna try to generate some additional input for our survey. And we've got some groups we're gonna try to target. We're gonna try to get over to the transfer station on a Saturday, see if we can engage the public with that.
Do we have a date that it's shutting down, cause when's the meeting for the,
March 31st, I think is what we said.
okay, but then when's the meeting that you're going to to get input?
March
The
31st.
21st.
Okay, sorry, I misread, so then I just wanted to make sure, okay.
right, anything else before we decide to go home? All right, thank you, everybody. Could I get a motion to adjourn our meeting? That has been motion.
Second.
Mary Beth seconded, all in favor of going home?
Yay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sarah, you too.